Alright, so this campout was actually a last minute thing we decided to do on Halloween night. So I remember we had to borrow a Dutch oven because we didn't have one. And we went to our neighbor's house to get one, the Morgans, and we used theirs. And as we were leaving, they loaded us up with a bunch of candy to take with us for the drive. And people were actually going out trick or treating by the time we left. So it was all dark when we got there. This is the next morning. Oh, you can see the dunes behind us. It looks amazing. So we haven't eaten breakfast yet. Riley's just getting his kite started to put together. This is a tote goat I got from another neighbor. It's an old mini bike from this thing's 50 years old, with a very old engine on it too. That thing's a ton of fun. That was the first. This campout was the first time we've gotten to use it. Cooking breakfast, obviously. Wood coals, not charcoal. It's Mountain Man breakfast, which is eggs, tater tots, bacon, and cheese, kind of in a stack. And we have Mountain Man almost every camp out when we get together. This is Riley being attacked by a kite. Here he is. Here's the kite making off after I chased it away. Actually, what's happening is Riley is flying the kite. See, as you can see in this picture. This kite's a ton of fun. It's a 2-string kite. The wind was just perfect this entire day. Well, until the evening. Oh, it's just a ton of fun. It's got this kind of window in the sky you get to fly in. And you try to keep it in there. Anyway, we put the camera on the kite. So you'll kind of see a little bit of what you can do. You can do like spins and stuff. There's a ton of tumbleweeds this year. One of the funnest things about the sand dunes is the tumbleweeds, because you can make amazing fires. You can see in the bottom on the right, now it's on the left, there's pits that are just filled with tumbleweeds that have blown in. And these pits were just all over the place. There we go, landing the kite. Ton of fun. So eventually we decided that we were going to need to move the tent to somewhere that was a little bit more protected from the wind, because the wind throughout the day was actually getting stronger and stronger. So the problem with that was the tumbleweeds were filling every single low spot in the dunes. And this looked like a really nice deep valley. So we wanted to put the tent there. So we burned out all the tumbleweeds. We just used like a 2x4 that was still on fire, shoved it in, and it just took off. So you can see it just burns it all the way down to ash. We just had to wait for a while for it to kind of blow away and for it to cool down. And while we were waiting, we decided to go on an adventure on the tow goat. So we took it to this hill and rallied around. So a couple of things about the tote goat real quick. So you can see on the back behind the seat there's this metal plate. So that's actually part of the case from a Kenwood subwoofer amplifier that we found at the sand dunes that someone had been shooting at and just left behind. And we actually strapped it up on the back of the tote goat to act as a second seat so that Riley would have somewhere to sit as we drove out to rally around on it. And that's kind of become a permanent part of what makes the tote goat the tote goat.
Yeah, that was great!
So, we're about to head off on another adventure on the tote goat. We decided it'd be a lot of fun to head across the valley and see what we could see and bring the tote goat along. It actually was a really rough ride for the person in the back seat, but it was a lot of fun. So it actually wasn't too long crossing the valley that we came across these horse trails, and then way off in the distance we found this huge group of horses on the other side of the valley. And it was a big group. What happened was almost all of them kind of just ran off into the foothills, and a small group actually came towards us, and they actually ran at us, and we thought they were just charging or something, before they actually ended up turning sideways and kind of circled us for a bit before running off and joining the rest of the group. And you can see them in the background over there.
We are the champion! Those are obviously. Yeah. Oh yeah. They're going. I didn't hear that. That's probably not loud. It's wind. They're going.
We eventually got our tent set up in the little cove that we burnt out for ourselves. You can see it ended up pretty nice and clean. There's really no tumbleweed burrs around. We ended up making this wall of tumbleweeds to kind of help protect us even more from the wind. We used just trash poles that we found to build that up. For dinner we had burnt corn dogs served up on a skillet of iron. That was amazing. We made a fire pit out of some other trash that we found. It's kind of amazing how much use we were able to get from all the trash that we were able to find. So while we're eating dinner, this guy shows up and he's like, "What? I've never seen anybody out here before." And it turns out he came out here to shoot up some oxygen tanks he had. So he was way off because he was afraid they were going to explode. They didn't. He hits it on this next shot here. Right. Yep, there it is.
Ooh, I thought it's part.
Yeah, that was kind of our entertainment for the evening.
If we just... That's so awesome. Get him. I got it. Oh, she got a video. Yeah. Cool. He's like,
So that night is kind of where it all went bad. We actually ended up having to dig a trench around the tent because it had started to rain, and we were at the bottom of this pit. And when we got that taken care of, it started to get really windy.
a lot of wind.
How much dirt and dust is in here too.
I know.
So this is the storm that had decided to roll in that night. After this, we kind of had to get out of there. There's not very much footage because those roads, when they get muddy, they are trouble. So this is actually after we'd gotten through all the mud and dirt roads, because it was just I couldn't film any of it. I was able to get a picture of this tower as we were heading out, as I was facing backwards. But it was I can't believe we made it out of there. The first of all, one of the windows got stuck down. The windshield wiper stopped working, so we had only the passenger windshield wiper going, and it was crazy. This car's four-wheel drive didn't work. I have no idea how he made it out of there, and it was just the most incredible part of this whole trip. And this is us as we're leaving. The storm has let up at this point, but it was still quite miserable because of the window and the windshield wiper. So by the time we got to the highway, we actually were able to fix the windshield wiper, but it was a long, cold drive home. Here we are back in the present day of 2016, and this is the Tote Goat getting ready to be strapped up for another adventure in the sand dunes. So stay tuned for that.